Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, you fantastic people wherever you are. Welcome to Chibi Reads Reddit. I'm your host, DoomChibi99. Today's subreddit is r/ relationship advice. So sit back, get cozy, grab a drink, and let's read. My 28 male boyfriend yelled at me 30 female the day of my mother's funeral. Any advice? I, 30 female, and my boyfriend, 28 male, have been together for about 4 years, and he has been in another state for the past month for work. He also works nights while I work during the days, so communication in general has been rough. He has been very distant since he has been there working. He knew about my mother's health issues, and I tried to keep him updated while he was gone. At times, I was overwhelmed and barely talked to anyone. When my mother passed away, he was the first person I told, and then me and my siblings had to go through the process of planning the funeral, which was difficult in itself. He got mad at me for not communicating with him effectively, but I thought he would understand that I was dealing with a lot. I never cried so hard the day my mom passed away, and the only person I wanted there was him. I knew he had to work, but he had come back home to support me during the funeral. He also mentioned to me how much money he was missing out on by coming to the funeral, which I thought was unnecessary. His mother picked him up because she was closer to the airport and she dropped him off at my house. I was not there because I was getting some last-minute things for the funeral, but he had a key, so he was able to get inside. He calls me yelling, asking where I was, when I previously told him that I had to pick up a couple things. I got there about 5 minutes after he called me. When I finally got home, he continued to yell at me, and I just burst into tears because I just didn't know what to say or do. I have contemplated breaking up with him because I just felt as though it was unacceptable to yell at someone in such a vulnerable moment. At this point, I don't know what to do. I just want some input on the situation. And we have a relative comment here by, I'm sorry if I mispronounced this, Zaidgative. OP, I'm very sorry about your mom. Sending you a big hug. It sounds like he's not very empathetic about the situation and made it about himself and how inconvenient it is for him that your mom passed away. I'm assuming his behavior shows up in other ways in your relationship too. Do you think this behavior is common? Did he at least apologize later or something? Regardless of it, if it was one-time thing or another in common occurrence, it is a very valid reason to end the relationship. You're in a very hard time in your life, and your partner should be the one there to help you and provide emotional support, not expecting everything to be about him. I agree with this. OP, this guy, after yelling at you like that, honey, dump him, okay? He's not worth the heartache. He's not worth the headache. So sorry about your mom. My condolences. But yeah, this guy's not good for you. Get out of that relationship while you can. I, 22 male, cut my girlfriend's hair, and she, 21 female, hates it. How can I fix this? I'm a professional barber that cuts men's hair. I cut my girlfriend's hair a few months ago because she typically does a one-length straight haircut, which is easy for me to do. This time, she wanted to try something different, so I suggested layers and decided to watch some videos on how to do them. After the haircut, we both thought that the length of the bangs were too short, just below her chin, and the overall haircut didn't suit her. I felt terrible afterwards, and she told me that it was okay, and that it's not my fault, and that the haircut just didn't suit her. A day later, she's clearly upset, and I suggested going to a salon to see if they could make it look better, but she doesn't want to cut it any shorter, and now she doesn't want to speak to me. What can I do to make this better for her, aside from a sincere apology? We have a comment here by Cyanide Lemonade saying, you both decided on this, she shouldn't be mad at you when you made an honest effort. And I agree. OP, look, my boyfriend, he's been cutting my hair as of late because, costs and whatnot. I've got it super short in the back, like right to the point where it's fuzz, and the rest of my hair is like just about like length of one of my ears. And I like it. But if she really didn't like it, she should have been upfront with you. So I suggest communication. Communication is key, okay? I, 26 male, feel like my girlfriend, 21 female, doesn't love me anymore. I, 26 male, have been in a relationship with my girlfriend, 21 female, for the past 10 months. The first 2 months were great. She would always text me, although she was never much for calling, so we didn't speak over the phone very often. But during those first 2 months, she frequently reached out via text, and we weren't really keeping track of who messaged first. It just felt natural. Around the 4th month, she started slowing down with the texting. I asked her if something was wrong, and if she was tired of the relationship, but she reassured me that she still loved me and everything was fine. This went on for about a month, but her distance made me anxious, and I threatened to break up with her if she couldn't explain why she was pulling away. She eventually opened up and told me that being very romantic wasn't natural for her, that during those first 2 months she was pushing herself to do all those things and needed time to learn how to maintain that level of effort. I understood and decided to be patient. By the 7th month, she moved to another city for work, and we discussed the challenges of long distance. I stressed the importance of staying in regular communication for the relationship to work, and she agreed. However, the one-word responses began again. Whenever I asked why she hadn't reached out all day, she would say she was busy with work, yet I would see her post online posting status updates. Previously, she would check in and just to say hi or just to ask how my day was going, but now she was suddenly too busy. This continued for 3 months along with other issues, and I decided to break up with her. She called me afterward, admitting that it was her fault and apologizing. She said she thinks she's trying, but perhaps not enough. She explained that she loves me, but struggles with phone calls due to some anxiety, and since she moved, her work life has become extremely stressful. She barely even responds to family messages. She's pleaded for another chance, asking me to be patient while she works on things. I have a job and I'm also in school, yet I make time to text or call her when I think she'll be available. Still, she rarely picks up. I'm struggling to understand how she can be so busy that she can't make time for someone she claims to love. I would feel bad if I could go a day without hearing from her, but she does her things like she doesn't care about me in the same way I do. I'm really unsure of what to do. I love her, but I feel like she's not putting enough effort in to love me in a way I can appreciate. At the same time, I wonder if I'm being used. Does she just want me around for convenience? I don't know. From what I know of her, she's not the cheating type, so I don't think she's cheating. But is she tired of the relationship and just afraid to admit it? We have a relative comment here that I started off with Rain Femme saying, I don't know, it sounds to me like she's stringing you along. She makes no effort and just expects you to wait. When you mention it, things change for a short time and then return to the status quo. This is who she is. I doubt she'll make lasting changes, so ask yourself if you're okay with feeling this way and the way she treats you. I'd bounce and find someone actually ready to be in a relationship. And we have another comment here by the user Lambs English saying, you're ultra needy and she isn't. This is okay, but it means you're not a great fit. The more you demand her attention, the more energy it saps from her to give it to you. Instead of demanding, she proves she loves you by messaging you every minute of the day. Why not give her a chance to show you her way? A little space can go a long way. And that's kind of hitting close to home because I've had a couple friends go through this. She started ghosting him. He was becoming like super ultra clingy, and it wasn't gonna work out in the end. So yeah, they've since broken up and whatnot, so I don't know what she's up to. Hope she's doing alright. Him, on the other hand, he's getting better. Why do I, 40 female, hate my parents, 67 male and 67 female? I grew up in a pretty normal, privileged childhood. My 40 female parents are Korean immigrants, 67 female and male, and worked hard and gave me and my brother everything we could have wanted growing up. We never wanted for anything, and if anything faced the stereotypical Korean Asian stereotypes of getting in trouble for anything lower than an A- in school, being heavily compared to and pressured to go to Ivy League schools, going to conservative Korean Christian churches growing up, and being obedient, rule-following children. Sometime in high school, my dad started going through a deep depression and started having some terrible marriage problems with my mom. He stopped working or showing any efforts to work, placing the burden of breadwinning on my mom, who was a stay-at-home mother, while her whole life with very limited English ability. He locked himself in his room every day and just came out for mealtime that my mom would prepare, and never lifted a finger to help clean or cook or help with anything around the house. He was this way my entire life and childhood. Never once did I see him do the dishes or help clean or cook, instead making my mom do everything and criticize every single thing about how something would not be done perfect or how he liked it. He had terrible bursts of anger and trouble controlling his temper, once throwing me out of my house because I tipped the pizza delivery guy extra $5 since it was pouring rain, and he got incredibly angry since I was just throwing money away. We barely maintained a relationship once I went to college and post-college, and every time I went back home to visit, he would just get into explosive arguments about the pettiest, stupidest things, and it made me incredibly resentful and bitter and angry at my mom for staying with such a loser dad and husband. I don't remember him being so dreadful in my early childhood, but I am convinced that this deep depression in my late teenage years left irreversible damage to his personality and ability to function as a normal human being. Because I noticed this and the catastrophic effect his untreated mental health has left on his family, I recognized similar signs in my own life and sought treatment and therapy for my own mental health, because I've never wanted to put my loved ones through similar situations. Good God, OP. When I started working, he started demanding a portion of my income, amount unknown, and when I asked him how much he wanted or he was expecting, he blew up again, saying a good daughter wouldn't even need to be asked and would just give from the heart. I understand that this is very common in East Asian cultures, but struggling post-grad, and also I didn't really have disposable income to give back to my family. We have kept an arm's distance relationship over the last 20 years and grown more and more distant, and perhaps more cordial, as we never go beyond surface level discussions during our interactions. I had come to peace with this, but now I have 3 young kids and want them to have a relationship with my parents. They are grandparents, but for some reason I am still incredibly triggered by everything they say and do when they are in my house. My dad still expects us to wait on him hand and foot, like he's an extra child and extra responsibilities added to my plate instead of having another adult around to help with the kids. My mother is also incredibly stuck in her ways, Depression-era Korean hoarding tendencies, and it annoys me so much. I'm trying to understand that she is from a different generation, but I am so triggered that if I want to take her to a nice dinner or lunch, she will only fixate on the price and complain about how expensive things are. She's like this with anything anytime we step out of the house, fixating on the cost and price of everything and asking how much something is and commenting how expensive it is, and just accumulating as much as possible and not being able to throw anything away. Every visit and interaction with them has become so incredibly stressful for me, but it's extra hard now because I live very far away from them now, so they fly out to visit us. I want to be as happy and peaceful as possible and start on a clean slate with my kids, but I'm afraid it's my tense attitude and being super sensitive to their existence and actions that make me incredibly unpleasant to be around. I've been to therapy and psychiatrists to manage my mental health for 15 years, but I can't seem to shake this feeling of hatred I have for them. Why am I like this? Why can't I understand and be compassionate to them? Instead, I grow increasingly bitter and resentful of the things they do or don't do, and would prefer not to have any relationship with them, but that's not fair to my kids. They are good people and have good intentions, but my own childhood trauma is prohibiting me from seeing a path forward, seeking any advice that has worked for others in similar situations. How do I help protect my kids from any residual trauma and help them make new relationships with their grandparents? independent of me. We have a relative comment here by Pseudocomniquis. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. Why do you want these kind of people around your kids? Why do you think your kids will get out of this relationship? Why don't you want to protect your kids from them? I honestly don't understand you, OP. Yeah, OP, rule of thumb right now, protect your kids. Keep them away from your parents, because if your dad's like this and if his personality rubs off on the kids, they could start imitating him, and then you're just gonna get triggered even more and more. We don't want that to happen. So do not let your kids be around your parents, especially alone, okay? I, 22 female, am being painted as a boyfriend stealer by this girl, 26 female, but I did not. Any advice? Strap in, because this is going to be long. I, 22 female, recently started my master's program in university. Towards the end of a bonding event, and while finding my way home, I met this foreign student, 27 male. We shall call him Alex, and his female friend/roommate, Eliza, 26 female. Alex was talking to me, and Eliza was just trailing behind. Prior to this, I have a small conversation with Eliza, but nothing much of substance. While he was talking to me, I tried to include her, but she really was not interested in talking, so I didn't want to force her. Eliza started slowing down more, and soon it was just me and Alex. I asked for his name, and he asked for mine. I said I shared the same name from someone in Spider-Verse. He said, "Oh, the pretty one, but not as pretty as you." I didn't know how to reply. I just went and gagged. I wanted to say goodbye to both him and Eliza, but she was nowhere to be seen. He said to leave it and just go, so I left. Alex said one thing that caught me off guard. He said he's just returned home around 10. I joked and said, "Oh, you went on a date?" He replied with, "If you're not here, who am I dating?" I was shocked and just wanted to move on, as I have a boyfriend. My boyfriend is well aware of Alex and is comfortable with me talking to him. Along with this, Alex said many other things, but suddenly, after 5 days of consistent chatting, he never replied. I still see Alex in school, and seems to be avoiding me. I was confused, but I just didn't want to press further. One day, I was speaking to another friend who knows Eliza and told her I don't know why he stopped talking. She said, "Oh, it might be because of his girlfriend." I was gagged. Turns out Eliza was his girlfriend. Now piecing it together makes so much more sense. He only spoke to me when she wasn't around in class. Apparently, Eliza and Alex fought over the bonding event incident and have been regularly fighting over me and, among other things, in uni, like him talking too much to his group mates who are also girls. By the way, I did not know that she was his girlfriend. He said that they were just close friends from the same hometown in their country. I said cool. That was all I knew. Now Eliza is telling people that I'm a homewrecker and stealing people's boyfriends. It sucks. I get her anxiety regarding her relationship, but it sucks that I'm being painted as this person. I would say that I'm a confident, charismatic, and just comfortable in my own skin. But it hurts when her words impact how new friends see me. People I could talk to no longer want to talk to me. I do feel guilty, but I truly do not know. Any advice? We have a comment here from a user whose username I'm not going to read out loud for obvious reasons. And they say, "He is a skilled liar and manipulator. You were a little naive, but you really didn't do anything wrong, aside from not having the necessary life experience to see what he was doing. If you can, try and write up a big message to Eliza, explaining how he led you on and how he specifically lied to you and told you that she was not his girlfriend. Make it clear that you're appalled by the whole thing and that now that you know, you have zero interest in him. And explain who doesn't give you at least a chance to explain yourself. And anyone who doesn't give you a chance to explain yourself wasn't your friend to begin with. And if they were your friends at all, they'd at least give you the courtesy of confronting you about doing wrong before ditching you, which would also be a chance for you to explain how you didn't know, and they should believe you, at least if you don't have a history of this sort of thing. If you've always been this genuinely honest and straight in how you deal with things, they're dealing you a huge insult by dropping you without getting your side of the story. Looks like we've reached the end of today's video, but fret not, I'll be back tomorrow with more Reddit stories just for you. Want to get notified of the next video? Tap that bell icon. Want to subscribe? Tap the button. It's completely free. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching, and until next time, catch you later, my Chibi Dominators.